Well, hey everybody. Oh, I just got to turn my little thing around here. Got to turn my little thing around. There we go. Now I can see. And yeah, Andrea likes when I do. Oh, I got to turn my light on. I'm really discombobulated here today. She likes when I do the little poses. She uses them for Instagram. So I'll do a few now. So she does these little screenshots. All right, sound good? Make sure I'm muted. I got to tell you, I've been working on the computer, and then I looked at the clock, and I'm like, we got to get going here on the live show. All right, what's happening around here? Well, the G80 just went out today, so if you haven't watched that, sitting on my phone. If you haven't watched the G80, that came out today. The Mazda 3 came out on the weekend. The Jeep Wrangler is coming up on Wednesday. What else is coming out? The Mercedes-Benz CLA. Also the Toyota Sienna, all-wheel drive hybrid. The SQ7 from Audi. And then later in December, the first couple of weeks of December, the new Lexus IS. All right. Sorry, I must tell you, I'm a little bit discombobulated here. What have I done? What have I done? All right. All right, let's get into the questions. Barrick is saying, hey, Zach, looking at either a new Genesis G80 3.5T or Lexus GSF, and both are the same price. With Lexus giving a $20,000 cash on the hood as it's being discontinued, which is better? Well, that really kind of shows you the market and what the market thinks of mid-sized luxury sedans. Lexus is getting out of it, and their car is really good. It's a really nice car. This is an excellent car too, but $20,000 off seems like a pretty good deal. I don't know. I wouldn't be rushing out to buy a mid-sized luxury car. There's not a lot of demand for them new, and there certainly is a lot of demand for them used. So my worry is you're going to spend all of this money and get a mid-sized luxury car, and 3-4 years down the road, nobody really wants it. If I were you, I would look at one of the larger of the compact luxury cars, like an Audi A4, or maybe even the new 3 Series, something like that. Or the G70. It's just that this category is kind of dead. So those are my thoughts. Hey Zach, what are your thoughts on a Porsche 987 Cayman base? Any issues looking at buying one? I think the base Cayman is fine. If I was going to buy any Cayman or Boxster, it would always be the S for me. I think that it's one of those things, especially if it's your first Porsche and you've never owned a car like that before, whenever you have the base model, you're always thinking, I probably should have gotten the S. And my advice to you is save a little bit more, put a little bit more money away, and get yourself the S. I know it's more money. There are plenty of the base models around. They're so much cheaper. And they're cheaper for a reason, because that's the same thing as a mid-sized luxury sedan. Not a lot of people chasing those. Not a lot of people chasing base model Caymans and Boxsters. Most enthusiasts want the S. My advice to you is save and get the S. Bruce is here. Bruce, nice to have you back. After talking to Calgary dealerships, 2021 Sorento and Santa Fe hybrids are not available anytime soon. Probably not until the 2022 models. Disappointing. Well, the first thing is we still have to get the new 2021 Santa Fe and Sorento gas models into the dealerships. I am going to be getting a Sorento over the Christmas break, so I have it for 2 weeks. Yeah, we will be shooting a video. I mean, nothing else to do during this lockdown. That Andrew and I are going to be working during Christmas, and we also have the GV80 as well during the holidays, so we're definitely going to be doing that. So just want to let you know that yeah, we're going to certainly have those two vehicles. Now about the hybrid, Yeah, I obviously they've done their homework. Where is this frickin' thing? Hang on a second here. I don't want to close that. I'll never get it back. I'm trying to get something going here, trying to get something open, and I can't do it. Ah, sorry guys. So yes, let's just get the gas models in the marketplace. They don't seem to have the same kind of strategy as, say, Toyota does, where they introduce the gas and the hybrid at the exact same time. And you have to also know that probably, I'm not sure exactly about this, but I would guess that the hybrids are coming from Korea, and they would have to fulfill their domestic supply needs first. So there you go. Probably doing that, getting the domestic supply done first before they ship them outside of the country. Hey Zach, how are the Lexus GS and RC different? How are the Lexus GS and RC different other than the numbers of doors and rear space? Also, which would you get a Grand Touring car, new Lexus GS or a used GSF? They're priced similarly. Okay, I'm just going to so an RC and a GS they're not really the same car, except for the extra doors. I think that a GSF is a lot of car for the money. Same thing though. You're competing with the same category as this Genesis G80. Not a big demand for these cars, which is probably why you're seeing great deals on them. There's nothing wrong with that. So you can go to Car Cost Canada and sign up using the promo code MotorMouth and find out what the deals are today on those cars. There won't be anything on the G80. They're doing their all-in-one sort of pricing. But with the Lexus cars, especially with that G8 GS that's being discontinued, I would say probably for resale, the RCF would be the one you want. But the RCF is not a really sporty car. It is more of what you're looking for, which is a grand touring car. If you're also looking for a powerful touring car, the Q60 from Infiniti will also have incredible deals on it. Same thing, go to Car Cost Canada and look it up. The Infiniti cars have incentives all day long because they're just not popular. But the Q60, if you want a comfortable, smooth, and powerful car, that would certainly fill the bill too. Raj is here. How are you? I'm doing well. Sorry about the coughing and the sputtering. I was doing all this work on the computer, getting pictures done and Instagram posts and everything for Andrea, and there was last minute I put all this together, so I apologize. I should probably be more professional and be ready. ProTech is here saying wristwatch check. So this is a Tudor Submariner from the mid-70s called a Snowflake. Of all of my watches, this and yeah, I have quite a few favorites, but the Snowflake, Blue Snowflake, is certainly highly collectible. If you know anything about sort of Rolex and Tudor sport watches, they are very collectible. And I bought this 10 years ago, and I don't want to tell you what I paid for it because to make your head spin how fast these things have gone up in value. Do you have any news on a new Range Rover Sport? Also a subscriber sip. I'm doing water tonight for the subscriber sip. But I sip and you subscribe. Oh, Andrea's upstairs. Excellent poses. She liked my poses at the beginning. Good job. Hey Zach, hope you're doing well. What do you think of the new BRZ? Is the power increase enough to be competitive? Cheers. Yeah, so the BRZ was released, or the information was released. They've gone to a 2.4 liter engine, not turbocharged. So it's basically the engine they have in the Ascent, but without the turbocharging. I think it's 228 horsepower off the top of my head. I think it's definitely going to help. What that car really needed was torque. The horsepower when you were wringing the engine out and getting the RPMs up was kind of fun, but it was really lackluster to drive in the city and at lower speeds because it didn't have any grunt. It's certainly going to help. It will help immensely to have a bigger engine in it. But the perfect example is going and driving the new Crosstrek with the larger 2.5 liter engine in there. What size is it again? 2.5? Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I'm trying to remember 2.4. Yeah, So the larger engine. And it's kind of where it should have been all this time. So I don't have a great expectations that it's going to be a car that blows the doors off. It is more of what they already had. They already had a lightweight, fun to drive, nicely balanced, small, inexpensive car that was fun to drive. Now it's just going to have more power. But the larger displacement engine having a 2.4 liter should help for sure with the torque department. When do you think you will get the 2020 Sorento? Heard it will be available in December. As I just mentioned, I'm going to get it over the Christmas break. I think we're getting it, if I look at my calendar here, December 21st until January 4th. So we will certainly be getting our hands on it and doing a test drive on it. So looking forward to it. And the interesting thing, Andrea was asking me about the Sorento, and I think that explaining to her that it's kind of like a unique car, a unique SUV. It doesn't really have any direct competitors because it's kind of a tweener. On the low end, 4-cylinder models, it competes with regular compact utilities, but then you get into the higher horsepower versions, and it's more expensive, and plus it comes standard now with 3 rows of seats. So I think that is why it's quite unique. So the Sorento has always been kind of a unique offering, and I think this new one's going to be really nice to try out. Alright, I got to find out where I was. Eric is here. Eric, nice to see you. Are there any worry for me to pre-order a 22 Mark 8 GTI in terms of reliability, or the fact that it's already selling in Europe helps our first-year production problems? Yeah, that's probably not a bad way to look at it. I mean, the vehicle is going to be for sale in Europe about a year before we get it. Yeah, and it's coming from European production. It's being made in Wolfsburg. So it's not like you have the European cars made there and then you get the Mexican-made cars coming to us. They're all coming from Wolfsburg. So that's probably not a bad way to look at it. Here's the thing about getting it first. If you can get it ordered and getting it in the first allotment, hey, if you don't like it, you could always sell it. I don't think there's going to be any problem getting rid of the car if you don't like it. And yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. I say, and if you're worried, wait a little longer. Just have a question about the Volvo S60. Are they a good car to buy? How is the reliability? Is the turbo? I have the turbo and supercharged 2.0 liter. Volvo as a brand is not in the same category as many other brands when it comes to reliability. Volvo suffers from sort of below industry average reliability. People who have these cars really do enjoy them. They offer something unique out there that really isn't being offered. This sort of Swedish Scandinavian luxury is appealing. The interiors are gorgeous. They're great looking cars. They're really nice to drive. But if you're just worried about reliability, not to say it's going to be a bad car, it's just that the reliability issues aren't as strong as other brands. But go and drive one and see what you think. Heidi ho, Motormouthians. I like that. Well done. Excuse me for coughing. By the way, come to Montreal soon so that Josh and I can grab a drink with you. Cheers. Well, I don't know. We're going to be doing any of that soon with all the lockdown. But you know what, Eric? I will be getting back to Montreal. I'm sure there's going to be some kind of press event there in the spring with the lockdown and the borders closed and nobody flying. Everything is going to be domestic. And the way they're doing it now, are they doing these regional launches? So, for example, I'm getting the Sienna on Thursday for the day only. And another journalist is going to be getting it. Actually, Brian Chow has it today. Dan Heyman has it tomorrow. And so on here on the West Coast. Same things happening in Toronto and also happening in Quebec. So everybody's getting a chance to drive it, and then we all publish on the same day. So that might be the way that car companies are going to go forward. It seems to be the most efficient. But there will still be a need to get together in person and drive some cars. So yeah, I look forward to getting Montreal because it is a great town. Claudio, also from Montreal. Nice that you're here. Vanilla Donut, what do you think of the new Civic so far? I think it's better than the last gen one, but the exterior is a safe design. Nothing as shocking as the Hyundai Kia. Yeah, so if you missed it, Honda put out a prototype Honda Civic. The video is on the channel. And I think that, yeah, you're right. I think they're playing it safer. The interesting thing is we just bought a current gen Honda Civic, a 3-year-old one, a 2017. And I do agree that the styling was a little bit sort of polarizing with that car, and the new one is much more conservative, more upright glass, more upright front and rear. Looks a little bit like the Jetta to me. I think it's a nice looking car. I don't know what their plans are for it, if they're going to do all-wheel drive or anything like that. But yeah, it looks like it's running on the same platform to me. There was only one image of the inside, which I think looks right nice, and then we have to wait and find out what the engines are going to be. My guess is going to be it's a carried over powertrain, probably modified a little bit, but really nothing earth-shattering. Yeah, there we go. I think it looks pretty good, but much more conservative than the current car. What do you think of the new QX55? They lost me on CVT and really, really old dash. Infinity. I mean, the one new product from them that is going to hopefully do something is the new QX60. Same thing again. There's our concept video that I did a couple of months ago. That looks promising. If they can come out with it looking anything like the concept, then that's probably a good thing, because the QX60 is their best seller. But for them to come out with a QX55, which is a coupe version of their existing QX50. And the problem I had with the QX50 is they had all this new technology, variable compression engine, new design. I like the look of the QX50, but then you get inside and it's the same old, same old. The dash is the same. The infotainment system is old. Like, come on, they need to update. They have on the Nissan side, they've come with better head units, and all of the stuff that we complained about on the Nissan side, they're fixing that. The new Rogue is very, very good. I'm here to tell you the new Rogue is good. But a variable compression engine with a continuously variable transmission and an old-looking interior and a vehicle that isn't selling well, so hey, let's take that and make it into a coupe? I don't get it. I don't know what Infinity's doing. They should go back and redo the QX50, the most competitive segment, compact utility, ditch the CVT, go and buy somebody's 8-speed automatic. There's lots of brands that make them, and put it in your car and call it a day. And maybe even rethink the variable compression engine. You know, like, I don't know. I don't see any QX50s on the road, any of them. So I don't know why a QX55 is a good idea. Huge Haggis is here. How you doing, laddie? Hey, Zach, GM and Ford seem to be betting big on EVs, especially here in Ontario. Are they putting all their eggs into a very small basket? Bailouts are going to be a hard sell if they fail. So if you're not aware, the new contracts for General Motors and Ford, and even for Chrysler, they've invested into making new electronic components. Now, the General Motors factory in Oshawa is going to be making pickup trucks, but Ford is betting big on a big electrified plan. Chrysler as well, down in Windsor, they're doing electrified plan. I think that's why you're starting to see, I was talking to my dad about this today, talking about all of these jurisdictions that are going to be mandating electric vehicles. I think that there's a bit of a push from the manufacturer side to say, if we're going to spend these billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars and euros and yen to retool our whole infrastructure to make electric cars, there better be demand at the other end of that. Come in.
Hi, Mom says you need lemon and honey tea because you're coughing up a storm. This is super hot.
Okay,
so I'm just
put it down.
Put it here,
Thank you. I am coughing up a
that's
storm.
that with the Porsche mug.
That's very nice, Jack. Well done.
Yeah.
You're a good boy, Jack.
Thank you.
I am coughing a lot. I apologize. I have reflux. I'm just burdened with that. So I kind of have a bit of a theory about this now. I think that the manufacturers are actually wanting these jurisdictions to say you're not going to be able to buy an internal combustion engine by whatever date, because they're going to be spending so many billions of dollars that they're going to have a demand at the other end. So that might be the reason behind all of this. So back to your question. Are they putting all their eggs in a very small basket? Well, it's a very small basket today. But we'll have to wait and see. I don't know. I just don't think that there's as big a demand as everybody thinks there is for electric cars, especially with the cost. For me, the number one thing is cost. And also the upgrade cycle of electric cars is going to be so quick that you buy. We have a Porsche Taycan we just picked up today. This is a $200,000 full electric Porsche. It goes like a bat out of hell. But even that there's going to be a better battery pack and an even faster one in a couple of years. I don't know. Raj is saying, I was playing around with the Build Your Own Ford Bronco. It's super expensive. No kidding. Rather than save $10,000 to $12,000 and get a Jeep Wrangler. I'm kind of with you on this. And people have asked me, how do you think the Bronco is going to do and do you think it's going to affect the Wrangler? Well, the one thing that FCA is really good at doing is throwing incentives on the hood of their trucks, for example, with their Rams. And we're already seeing that with Wrangler. And the thing about Wrangler is that it's been in continuous production for decades and decades and decades. So they have polished that thing like a fine diamond. So the Wrangler video that we have did is going to drop on Wednesday, so in just 2 days. And you know what? It is a great product. And it's very comfortable to drive on road. And they've made it so much more refined. The interior is fantastic. It's really good product. So I'm kind of with you. I don't know. I'm not holding out hopes that the Ford is going to be bulletproof in the first couple of years. So I would take a wait and see on Bronco if it was my money. Oh, Richard's here with a super chat. Thank you, Richard. That's better than beer. Greetings from Chestermere, Alberta. Well, there you go. Thank you. It's funny because Jack, just before the live show, he says, Pop, what beer do you want? And I said, yeah, I'm going to take a pass on the beer. Now you guys are all saying you miss me drinking the beer. So there you go. I was thinking that it was also making me cough. That's why I took a pass. The lemon tea thing is good. But thank you for the super chat. All right, got to find out where the hell I was again. So we have 191 people on board and only 53 thumbs up. You guys can give me a like, can't you? Sorry, guys. I just got to get back to where there it was. James Sang is saying, Zach, why do you think Tesla build quality will eventually cap with the other automakers? We have been driving German imports and the build quality of Tesla is just something we cannot get over. Yeah, I mean, there are a few things for, I think, I've got a theory about, oh, by the way, there's the QX50 went by. That's the only one I ever see is the one on my screen. I think that for people who are not auto enthusiasts, a Tesla is a cool, fun, unique proposition. If you're like me, and you probably are because you're here watching a live chat about cars, I think that people who are auto enthusiasts kind of like certain things. They like design. I don't think Tesla cars are good looking at all. There's absolutely zero decoration on the car in terms of trim or chrome or anything. It's just a clean blank canvas. Some people like that. I think the interiors are sparse beyond sparse. I do not want to do everything through a screen. I don't. I want some switches. I want ease of use. A big screen is fine, but it's like a big eyeball looking at you all the time. I don't like that either. Sure, they have a fantastic electrified technology. They certainly have the range, and they certainly have the power, and they certainly have the speed. And they actually have not bad packaging when it comes to the amount of space you get with the vehicle. They've done a good job with that. But it doesn't really have any appeal. And then when you start digging into the finer points, which enthusiasts do, and you start looking at the build quality, and then you have, for some of these vehicles, some leftover parts from Mercedes-Benz, it just doesn't add up to anything I really want. It doesn't, like the Taycan I'm driving. Holy crap, what a beautiful car. It is a beautiful car inside. It's a beautiful car outside. Inside is really not perfect, but it's really well put together. And when you drive it just to drive it as a regular car, it is a really nice car to drive. And then it goes really fast when you ask it to. But I'm kind of with you. I just can't get over what they're offering. And there's going to be so much competition coming in the next few years from all brands for your money. Hyundai uses Korean market as a testing grounds. Yeah, of course. That's, and the same thing for Volkswagen Group. All of their cars come out in Europe before they come out in other jurisdictions. That's just the way they do it. What are your thoughts on the Polestar 2? Great looking car. Here's a perfect example. Here is a perfect example of Tesla and then Polestar. Polestar has just been released. The Polestar 2 is the Tesla Model 3 contender. Go and look at that car and look inside it. And that is a beautifully put together car, a really nice design. Like when I look at the Polestar 2, I go, that is a nice looking car. And then you look inside and you go, that is a nice interior. I haven't driven it yet, but I did go online and look at the prices. Whoa. It's the same thing about electric cars. I don't know. In Canada, I think it starts at like 72 grand. I'm sorry, I'm not spending 72 grand on that. Hey, Zach, what do you think about the electric car brand NIO in China? They have swappable batteries and stock prices being parabolic recently. What is their chance against Tesla? Well, Alex Young, I got to confess to you, I had a bunch of NIO stock and I sold it, and I wish I hadn't because it has gone parabolic, and it's too bad because I would have been much wealthier. But anyway, I bought the stock because I saw NIO at the Shanghai show 2 years ago, and I looked at the products and I looked at what they were doing, and I was thinking that is a really nice looking product. They have basically utility vehicles. And really nice design, fun sort of interactive systems on the inside. And I think that they do have a chance. So the one thing you've got to know is that the Chinese market is so big all on its own. Brands don't need to be anything outside of China, at least initially. And I think that NIO could build a nice sort of following for itself in the domestic Chinese market. And then when they get more backing and more money and capital, they could expand. Wouldn't it be interesting to see a Chinese-made vehicle, electrified vehicle, being sold here in North America? I don't think it's that far away, and I think it's coming, and they might be nicely positioned for that. The other thing they might do is they might license their products to another brand, so you white label it. So it's basically a NIO, but it's got somebody else's badge on it. That was done for decades in the auto industry, and nobody's doing it yet, and somebody might do it with a Chinese-made electric car. And that might be kind of fun. People are chatting back and forth here. Thoughts about Hyundai's design ideology. The new Sonata or Elantra is a totally different car than the previous version. They will never build a legacy or following this way. German cars evolve in design. I'm kind of with you on that. I remember Hyundai when they came up with the Sonata. What was it, 10 years ago? They had that fluid sculpture look, the really swooping car, looked like it was polished by water. And that was, I thought they were kind of onto something there. And then they went to a square look, and now with the new Sonata with the light chrome strip going into the headlamps, that car does nothing for me. I just look at it and I go, yeesh, I don't like the look of it. The K5, I think, looks really nice. The K5 looks really good. Yeah, you kind of have, like, at least with Kia, with their grille, they're kind of sticking with that. Right? The Tiger Nose Grill, that seems to be their jam, and they're sticking with it. Hyundai seems to be trying to find what that is. But yeah, I agree with you. If you do change too often, you don't really stand for anything. Will every not at fault end up increasing in premium? If not, then why should we expect one? I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about. I think you're talking about no fault insurance. I know it's a thing in Ontario, and they want to bring it here. I'm not sure what you're asking. Why do AMG GTRs have terrible residual value, resale value? I have no idea. It's one hell of a car, man. Holy mother, that is an amazing car. I got a chance to drive it on the racetrack in Hockenheim last year. Actually, if you go on the channel, there's a video of me driving the GTR on the track. It was pouring rain, but still a lot of fun. I think it comes down to people are afraid of the repair costs. I think that's exactly what it is. Like you have a high horsepower sort of supercar from Mercedes-Benz and it's out of warranty. It could be very, very expensive to keep it running. And that I think is why the analogy is the bigger they are, the harder they fall. And it is so true with German vehicles. The more expensive they are and the more opulent they are, they depreciate the quickest. The exception being Porsche sports cars. Porsche sports cars, the bigger they are, if it's a Turbo S or a GTR, a GT3 or a GT2 RS, they hold their value. But everything else seems to just depreciate because it's maybe a ticking time bomb. Zach, despite Lexus RC rides on the IS platform, the front half is IS platform, rear is GS platform. So is that why it's heavy? You know what? I don't like the RC. I just think it's I mean, if you're looking for just a touring car and a comfy car, go and try one out. But if you're looking for a sporty car, it is not that. It's just not something, and the Fs are really kind of busy and overstyled with all these cutaways and things on the side. It's not for me. So if you like it, go try one. That's what I can say. Go try one. I would have preferred a 2010 Civic. The 2010 Elantra front doesn't look exactly... I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway. You're saying there's background noise? It could be the fan on my laptop is running. You might be picking that up. Is anybody else hearing any kind of strange noises? I'm just looking through the comments. It might just be the fan on my laptop. So I apologize about that. All right, more thumbs up. We have 230 people on board and 111 thumbs up. It'd be good if we could get more. That'd be great. I'm just trying to find where I was. I apologize. When is the video on the Sienna coming? I'm going to... so we're shooting it this week, and then it drops next week. So the Sienna is coming next week, okay? So just a few more sleeves. Ben is here saying we bought a Mazda CX-30 recently, and my wife hates it due to the harsh ride. I kind of agree, as the roads we live in are quite poor. Can you suggest an alternative, smoother riding mid-size SUV? Well... The CX-30 is not a mid-size. That is a compact to almost subcompact. Smooth ride. If you're looking for a smooth, comfortable, quiet ride, a Chevy Equinox is a very nice riding vehicle. Now, you might have no interest in trying a Chevrolet, but I suggest you go and give one a shot. People ask me all the time, I want a smooth, quiet, comfortable... And I often will shoot people towards General Motors products because theirs certainly are smooth and comfortable. And they do a very good job on uneven road surfaces. So give one a shot. The Rogue might not be bad. Maybe try the Rogue out if you're looking for a compact utility around that size. Might not be too bad. What you need to do is you need to test drive the vehicles that you're considering on the roads where you live and really pay attention to exactly what you're talking about. So if you don't like the ride of one, swap it out and try another one. One of the reasons might be because that vehicle does not have independent rear suspension. So you get what is called axle hop. It's a torsion beam rear suspension, and over bigger bumps you can get the whole sort of back end bumping up and down all together, and that might be the reason why. If you don't want to take a depreciation hit, and you might want to try different tires. Tires could also make a massive difference, and that's going to cost you less than $1,000 to get new tires. Might not be a bad way to go and give it a shot. Will Porsche ever replace the Cayman Boxster with a new model? The 718 is basically the same as the 981, which has been around since 2013. Well, there is a rumor that there could be a new Boxster and Cayman coming as a full electric. That's just a rumor, because when I was on the Boxster GTS launch in Portugal just about a year ago, it was in January of the beginning of this year, so almost a year now, talking to the engineers, and I was saying about the next Boxster and Cayman, and they quite coyly said, well, if there is another Cayman or Boxster. So that kind of led me to believe maybe, because they've been quite firm about the 911 is going to remain a gas-powered car. There's no plans for hybrid or for electrification for the 911. Maybe they'll do something with Boxster and Cayman and do that as an electric vehicle, because there's also going to be an electric Macan coming. So we'll have to wait and see. But you're right. The car has been heavily updated, though, even though that platform came out in 2013. In 2017, when they went to the 4-cylinder turbos, they heavily modified the suspension, front and rear, and the car has a wider track, and especially at the back, the track is wider, and it handles better because, believe it or not, the 4-cylinder turbo actually take up more room in the engine compartment compared to the 6-cylinder. So they actually had to move the suspension farther out, which is why it has a wider track, which is why it handles better. Because of all of the intakes and what have you for the turbos, they needed more room. And so, yes, it's essentially the same platform, but heavily modified in 2017. Hey, Zach, do you see mass issues with direct injection engines in the near future? Do you see demand to change the engineering to dual port and direct injection as the norm? I think that we're going to see more of that. And I think that, Lexus and Toyota are onto something with their port and direct injection system, which allows them to put fuel and with the fuel, some cleaners in the detergent in the fuel to help clean the backside of the intake manifold, the intake valves. So carbon builds there, and there's no way to clean it out. You have to basically they blast in crushed walnut shells to get it out. So are you asking if there's going to be a problem with it? There already is with some brands, and cars that are not running well, sometimes it is because of carbon buildup. So I think that, that's something that probably will happen more and more, is they go to port and direct injection because they can get some fuel on the backside of these valves to help burn off some of that carbon. Mazda 3 0 to 60 times are all over the place. From you're over 7 seconds to at 5.7, Mazda doesn't have an official number. Okay, we got a lot of grief because Andrea and I, for fun, just for shits and giggles, decided to do. I'm gonna get one thing. Hang on a sec. We decided to do 0 to 60 runs with the Mazda. Now, there was 2 of us in the car. It was kind of wet. We have no idea the gas that was being used in the car. The car was delivered to us. We had the car for the day. And what fuel they put in it, I don't know. And the interesting thing is a lot of people are saying online that the 5.7 0 to 60 run they're getting, first of all, in Canada we do 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, so it would be probably closer to 6. The fastest time we got was 6.7. So, and that's with 93 octane fuel. I don't know who is going to put 93 octane in their Mazda 3 on a regular basis. It can run on regular. It can run on 91. I wouldn't be putting 93 in just to get that fraction faster 0 to 100 time. I don't think that's what the car is about. So, yeah, people piled all over us because we used the stopwatch to do 0 to 100 kilometers an hour. And a newsflash, here's a newsflash, before computers, that's how they did 0 to 60 times, was with a stopwatch. So it is, a legitimate source. But we buckled and we caved and we bought one of these, the Draggy, which is GPS-based system that allows you to track your runs to either 60 miles an hour or 100 kilometers an hour. And it just arrived today from Amazon. So yeah. I think that it comes down to, and the other thing is, I wasn't going to totally overload the torque converter, like put my foot all the way down to the floor on the gas, and release the brake, like a brake stand. I look at a 0 to 100 kilometer or 0 to 60 run as a real world, like from a standing stop, putting your foot on the gas, the car decides what it's going to do and gets you down the road as quickly as it can. And for us, it wasn't that overwhelming. I don't think the car didn't feel super quick. It's quick, but it doesn't feel like a hot hatch. I was just wondering, what is the most reliable and least depreciated supercar? I think you got to go back to Porsches. I think you got to go to their GT cars. If you can get a GT Porsche, it's probably not a bad investment. The cars hold their value. They're quite reliable if they're serviced correctly. So there you go. I'm moving around here. What's your take on the 2022 Honda Civic? I really love the current Honda Civic sportiness and unique look. I think the 2022 Civic design is kind of plain and has it plain. I think you mean plain. I agree with you. It's kind of plain. Raj is saying, I really like the Honda Civic. The Golf R look good too, but I don't like the R in the middle of the trunk. I'm not sure what you mean. Contrary to popular belief, the weight of the Lexus is around average. I think there's people going back and forth on this Lexus RC. Any exciting new sports cars you're looking forward to in the next year or so? Off the top of my head, I mean, yeah, I'm not sure what cars are coming when. I'd have to really look at it. Off the top of my head, I can't think of anything right now. What is your favorite off-road compact SUV under $50,000? If you're going to go compact off-road SUV, you're really only talking about Cherokee, right? So if you get the Cherokee, the trail-rated version of it, under $50,000, that's probably your best bet. But I think also, if you want to do a mid-size utility, you could do a Grand Cherokee, and you'd be close to $50,000. But those would be two that I would be looking at. You can get a Wrangler. If you get a two-door model, they start under $50,000. This is interesting. The new hybrid Sienna makes me want to get a minivan. Well, that's what Toyota is hoping. They're hoping that their average buyer now is 37 years old. And they're thinking with some of the designs that they have, that, with a more utility SUV kind of look on it, that it could get more young people into buying the car. I don't know. That's kind of a hard sell to get someone to buy a minivan. 2021 Lexus IS all-wheel drive or the 2021 TLX A-Spec? Well, let's just wait. We have to drive the Lexus IS. My guess is not going to be too different from the existing car. It looks more like a really quite mild facelift. A couple of weeks from now, the week of December 5th is when I get it. So stay tuned. I have to drive it. Let's just wait. The TLX I liked, but we'll have to wait for the IS. Derek is saying, hello, I was just wondering where you guys shoot your videos. There is so beautiful. It reminds me of Garden City, Long Island. Thanks and have a good day. Well, we live in the city of Vancouver on the west coast of Canada, and we shoot in some of the nicest neighborhoods in the city. So we live in the middle of Vancouver, not downtown, but the middle of the city, and out towards the west is where we typically shoot. Some of the neighborhoods we shoot in are Shaughnessy, which is a very high-end neighborhood. Houses in that neighborhood start around $10 million, I think, and they go up as much as you can imagine, $20-25 million. And then we shoot farther west than that, out towards UBC and the endowment lands. We do a lot of shooting out there as well. And the great thing about Vancouver, even in the winter, even in Canada, a lot of it is green because of the green grass and the green hedges. Subaru Forester, can it do overtake on highways and do mergers? It's not going to be the speed champion, that's for sure. If you're wanting a more powerful utility from Subaru, consider the Outback with the new turbocharged engine, or the Ascent with the 2.4-liter turbocharged engine. Not available with the Forester. They got rid of it and just stuck with the base 2.5-liter, which I think is a missed opportunity. They used to have it with the XT. So try the other two, the Outback Turbo and then the Ascent Turbo. And when you start looking at the Ascent, not the base model, but one up from the base, there's actually quite a bit of value in there. And it's a really nice vehicle. Is it true the North American Stinger will get the new 2.5-liter together with the old 2-liter and 3.5? Nothing is official. It's all just speculation. Awesome job, Andrea and Zach. Looking forward to the Jeep video release. Any sweet and sour planned post-COVID? No, we're not doing any sweet and sour. It's just Andrea and I. You're stuck with the two of us. Will you be reviewing the new F-150? Of course I will. When I get my hands on it, of course I will. I really want to see the new interior of the F-150. That's the one area about the F-150 that I think really lets down the Ford brand. Actually, Ford generally. I think a lot of their interiors are real cheap looking, and I think that they could do a much better job. That's the one area they need to really work on. What do you think of the BRZ 86 compared to the E46 328 or 330 Ci? That's a very different kind of vehicle. I don't know off the top of my head. I would guess the BMWs are heavier, and also you can get with the six-cylinder, the inline six-cylinder. That's a very different proposition than a four-cylinder, lightweight, rear-wheel drive car. I don't think they really compete at all. Put the 8-speed in the RX 350 into the QX and a win-win. Yeah, I don't know. If I was in charge of Infiniti, I would say there's no CVTs allowed in Infiniti products. We're going to go out and buy the best 8 or 9 or 10-speed automatic that the parts suppliers have, whether it's ASIN or another supplier. Put it in your cars, calibrate it well. Like when you get a really nicely calibrated like 8-speed automatic transmission paired perfectly with a really sweet engine, there's nothing better than that. The one example I can give you is the new GLA. The video on that's going to be coming out in the next little while. Mercedes-Benz absolutely nailed the transmission engine combo with the GLB, the GLA, the CLA, and so on. It just works. It just works so well. They're doing this perfect dance. The car's always in the right gear. The power of the engine is always right there. It's just a really nice combination. And when you get it right, it just feels so satisfying to drive, which is why I always say, don't look at numbers. Numbers are just numbers. You actually have to drive the vehicle. A lot of people are saying, oh, well, the TLX Type S only is going to have 355 horsepower and the Hyundais have got 365. I don't care. If it drives better, that's all I care about. If the transmission is crisp and shifting well, that's what I want to know. But I'm with you. You get an 8-speed in the QX, update their head units, the design of the vehicles are good, I think it would sell way better. Lucky wife looking out for you. Yeah. Coughing away there. It's embarrassing for her. I think that's what it is. But yeah, she's a great one. Hi, Zach. Hope you are keeping well. With Andrew and the gang, I'm just curious, what are your thoughts on the Rivian 3-row SUV? I'm tempted to put down a refundable $1,000 on pre-order list. I like the look of it. I got to say, I've seen the Rivian in person. What show was it? It must have been Detroit. And I think that they have really nice looking product. And you know, with some Ford backing in there and what have you, I think it's going to be really interesting to watch. There is going to be, my worry is that there's going to be a saturation of electric vehicles from all these brands and not enough demand. That's what I truly believe. But what's the price of it? I think in the US it was $75,000. Man, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Here's a good question. What do you think about the Telluride Top Trim versus the Atlas Top Trim? I think the Telluride is the midsize utility to beat. I think they did a fantastic job. I saw an interesting tidbit of information that the Tellurides made in Korea are getting higher quality scores than the Hyundais made in Georgia. Doesn't mean that there's a massive difference between the two. It's just statistically the Tellurides are faring better. There was an issue with the Palisade that there was some smell in the car. I think it was from the headrest. Now back to your question. I think the Atlas is very, very roomy. If your number one priority is space, Atlas is going to be your go-to. If you're just looking for a great all-rounder, I think the Telluride is fantastic. Here's my best answer. If I was buying a midsize utility tomorrow and I had to choose one, I would go and get a Kia Telluride without even missing a beat. Okay, just a second. Jack, can you come here? William's disappointed. He said, no sports update from Jack regarding Raptors players. Please call Jack back. Okay, Jack, have a seat. So, who went where?
Well, Aaron Baines, the Suns' backup center, is now the Raptors' starting center. Ibaka went to the Clippers, and Gasol went to the Lakers.
So Gasol went to
the Lakers with LeBron. And
they signed Freddie?
Yeah, and Aaron Baines, who is the Suns' backup.
And how long is Lowry under contract?
Like next year he's a free agent.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but he signed a 1-year extension, but he's old though. He's like 35 almost.
But he's a stud.
Lowry's old.
He's my favorite player. Okay, so chances of the Raptors making the playoffs?
Playoffs, yeah, but I don't think they'll do very well.
No?
No, because they lost all their players. They lost both their centers. So they pretty much have a backup center starting for them now.
Okay. You got some good screen time today, Jack.
Yeah.
There you go. You know, it's funny. Last week, we're having dinner. Jack says, I only get a few seconds of screen time. So I cut you out altogether.
Oh, yeah. Thanks.
Motormouth is better than Monday Night Football. Easy. Pump the brakes. I don't know about that. Better than Monday Night Football. That's funny. Let me find out where was I? So I screwed myself right at the beginning of this live chat. I usually have a little window open in the corner of my computer where I can see if any super chats pop up, and now I have to keep flying around here. What is that in the bottom left-hand corner? I don't know. Oh, this? This is just the box for this thing. I think that's what you're talking about. Then this is a DJI Osmo Mini. This is a Zoom microphone. There, we got all this covered. Geez, I really got to catch up. There we go. Zach, CX-5 or new Rogue, or CX-30 versus Kona N-Line, Elantra GT hatch N-Line. Give me 3 picks, please, from Edmonton. I really like, I would say the CX-5 Turbo for sure. The Rogue is very good. They did a really good job with it, but I would still say CX-5 Turbo. Okay, so you want to go CX-30 versus Kona. I would say Kona. Elantra GT hatch N-Line. Oh, I see what you're saying. Kona versus GT hatch N-Line. I would say I haven't driven the Kona N-Line yet, but there you go. If it's between the CX-5 versus the CX-30 and the new Rogue, I still go CX-5 Turbo. Electric cars are too expensive for the average Joe, and manufacturers are kicking regular people who need a cheap transportation out of the new car market. It's kind of sad. Now, here's the interesting thing. So last week, we had a lot of questions about the province of Quebec by 2035 is mandating electric vehicles only. A bit of a loophole. Hybrid vehicles qualify. So you're still going to be able to get inexpensive hybrid cars, and there'll probably be more options. So, yeah, it's not all bad news. Hey Zach, any SUV towing reviews? Use your Cayenne for towing trailer and boat. I don't have a trailer hitch on it. My old Cayenne did. Never used it. I'm not a towing kind of guy. But yeah, get some pickup trucks and do that. Would be good for sure. Another follow-up on this. Rogue versus Forester Sport versus CRV Sport. I would say right now, the Rogue is pretty hard to beat. The Forester, if it's just straight, off all-wheel drive capability and the best ground clearance, the Forester for sure, because it's got 220 millimeters of ground clearance. But I think the new Rogue, they did a really, really good job. And a lot of people don't believe me. Go and look at it yourself, and you'll see. I'll start to like Tesla when they make the $20,000 car. Well, don't hold your breath. Hey Zach, I have a Turbo Mazda 6. Do you think I should do premium gas? The 87 octane seems to work fine. I can get 91 and 93. It's totally fine. It's sold telling you that you can drive it either way. So if you're fine with regular, just keep running regular. I couldn't agree more about the Spartanness of Teslas. I drove a Model X recently, and the interior is very underwhelming for a $150,000 vehicle. Absolutely. I dropped by the liquor store to make sure I had beer for the live stream. Very disappointed now. Oh, dude. We'll pick it up next week. I won't make that mistake 2 weeks in a row. Okay, I'll be back with the beers. So you drink away. Sir, are you Indian? Not sure what part of me looks Indian, but I am not Indian. PHEVs are selling in Europe, but these cars are not coming to Canada. When will we have it? When will we have PHEV Explorer? It's coming. It's coming. I love Jeeps, but they have such bad reliability. Also love BMWs, but I'm worried about reliability. What are your thoughts on Cherokee versus BMW X3? Whatever car I get, it will be my son's eventually. Well, I'm never going to be one of these people that says I'm going to buy a car and keep it forever. If you buy a car and it doesn't work out, move on. There's lots of cars out there. I would suggest that Jeep, if you look at the statistics about Jeep over the last 2 or 3 years, they have improved their reliability immensely. If it's quality scores you look at from JD Power, for example, they have improved a lot. I mean, a lot. Same thing with Dodge. So FCA seems to be getting their act together. An X3 is a fine vehicle, but BMWs are not at the top of the list. You know, if you're looking for a vehicle that you want to drive and own and give to your kid, buy a Toyota, buy a Lexus. Sorry, I'm just scanning through these because Had you considered a Crosstrek or any other small SUV for your son, or did you want a more sporty automobile? Civic. The Civic is nice. The problem is I'm not willing to spend a premium on a compact utility over a compact car. That's really what it came down to. You know, we'll pick a round number. A $15,000 used sedan. If you want the equivalent in a small utility, it's going to be $20,000 to $22,000. So I wasn't willing to pay an extra $5,000 to $7,000 just to have an SUV. We don't need an SUV. We got an SUV, and I think that having a car and a planted car on the road. I mean, the Civic's got independent rear suspension. The number one thing for us was the advanced forward collision warning and autonomous braking, and that was introduced in Civic in 2016. We bought a 17. So that for us was the reason we bought it. And I wasn't going to pay a premium to get a utility over a sedan. I'm looking to buy a pickup. Should I buy now or wait till 2021? I'm trying to get the best bang for my buck, considering the Ram 1500 Sport, or should I wait for the F-150? Well, here's the thing about the Ford. Go to Car Cost Canada, sign up, use the promo code MOTORMOUTH, and you too can become an expert member. And go look at the incentives. There will be big incentives on existing F-150s. So if you're just looking for value, you're probably going to get a really good deal on an F-150 today as the new ones are coming. FCA is very aggressive. All of the domestic brands are very aggressive with pickup trucks incentives. It's quite common to see $10,000+ incentive on a truck. So because there's a brand new model coming from one of the big three, which is the new F-150, there's going to be a sort of slightly hyper market when it comes to incentivizing, first of all, the old F-150 as it leaves and the existing Chevrolet and FCA products. So go to Car Cost Canada, keep an eye on those incentives, and maybe getting a 2020 F-150 might not be a bad way to go. Alex Young, Zach, I don't know if I'm alone on this, but I believe that the current RS6 Avant is one of the best cars ever made, in my opinion, for various reasons. What do you think about it? I would love to have an RS6 Avant. I think it is absolutely drop-dead gorgeous with all of that power. I totally agree with you. I mean, the E63S is another favorite of mine from Mercedes-Benz, but yeah, I would love to have an RS6 wagon. I just think it just looks fantastic. So some people are saying they hear the fan noise. I apologize. The fan, because it's doing all this processing on my laptop, is making noise. Why are you saying you cannot thumbs up when watching live on iPhone? Sorry about that. Okay, we are past 6 o'clock on the West Coast. Thanks to everybody that came on board. Don't forget to sign up to Car Cost Canada, promo code MOTORMOUTH. And videos coming out again. The Jeep is coming out Wednesday. The CLA from Mercedes on Saturday. Next week will be the new Sienna. We're also going to have the SQ7 from Audi. And then soon after that, we're going to have the Lexus IS, the new Lexus IS, all coming up in the next few weeks. I got to go. I'll see you later. I got to go. Bye.